There once was a king who had 12 beautiful daughters. They all shared a room with 12 beds, and every night the door was locked. But every morning, the princess's slippers were worn out as though they'd been dancing all night, and the king couldn't figure it out. He asked his daughters, but they wouldn't tell him. The king issued a proclamation that whoever was able to figure out the secret of the dancing princesses could marry whichever of the 12 daughters he liked best. Soon a prince came forward and said he was going to try. So the king welcomed him to his court. There was a party that night. They had a feast. The prince was put in a chamber next to the princesses, and very soon he fell asleep. The next morning, he hadn't figured anything out. Part of the proclamation, too, was that they had 3 nights to figure this whole thing out, or they would just get beheaded. It was pretty grim, but, you know, how it was back then. So, second night, same thing happens. Prince falls asleep, doesn't wake up until the morning. The slippers are worn out, he can't figure it out. On the third night, the same thing happens, and he dies. Gets beheaded. A lot of princes come forward, because, I mean, who wouldn't want to inherit a kingdom and marry a beautiful princess? But all of them sleep through all 3 nights, and all of them die. There's an old soldier wandering through the woods, and he runs into a crooked little lady, bent over her stick, and he asks her about the kingdom he's walking through. She tells him about the proclamation, and he figures he might as well try his luck. The lady gives him a piece of advice. She says, don't drink the wine the princesses offer you before you go to bed. Just pretend to drink it, throw it onto the ground, and take this hook. When you wear it, you will be invisible. Follow them, and see what you can do. Try your luck. He goes to the court. They welcome him. They have a party. He goes to bed in a chamber next to the princesses, and instead of drinking the wine, he throws it out secretly over his shoulder, and soon begins to snore. The princesses, hearing his snore, laugh and say, why did this guy try his luck? He's going to die just like the rest. They think it's hilarious. They start pulling out their best dresses and their favorite shoes, and they're all getting ready, and the youngest is very, very concerned. She says, something doesn't feel right about this, you guys. And they're like, oh, you're always worried about it. Stop being such a worrywart. They get ready. They go in and check on the soldier again, and he's still snoring away, listening intently to his time. They're convinced that he's asleep, so they go back into their room, and the eldest daughter claps her hands twice at the foot of her bed. Her bed sinks into the ground, and a set of stairs appears. The sisters disappear down the stairs, and the soldier, seeing his chance, throws on his cloak and races after them, hoping to make it before the bed comes back. He does. But halfway down the stairs, he's following too closely, and he steps on the gown of the youngest sister. She feels it and freaks out. She says, we need to go back. Something's not right. Someone just grabbed my gown. They laugh at her and say, you're always worried. Stop being so worried. It's just a snag in the wall. They get to the bottom of the stairs and enter a grove of beautiful trees, all made of silver. It's gorgeous. And the soldier, to document the evidence of where this beautiful place that he's in, snaps off a twig. The twig makes a really loud crack, and once again the youngest daughter just freaks out. They calm her down, say it's just the princess calling for us. They're so excited to dance with us tonight. They get to the next grove of trees, gold. The same thing happens. The same thing happens in the trees of diamonds. Finally they come onto a beautiful lake. And there are 12 little boats, one with each prince. Each of the princesses gets into the boat, and they begin to row across the lake. The soldier sneaks into the boat of the youngest. The prince is rowing the boat, very concerned. He says, I've rowed this boat every night for a long time, and tonight it feels so heavy. The youngest daughter's like, it's hot outside, I feel it. It's the heat, don't worry about it. They come to this island, this beautiful castle lit up. They walk inside. There's a dancing hall. They dance all night. And every time there's a glass of wine by the princess, the soldier takes it and drinks it. This kind of freaks out the youngest daughter. But once again, the other sisters quiet her fears, and they dance until 3 in the morning, until for their slippers are worn out. They go back across in the boat. The soldier goes in the oldest daughter's boat this time, just to keep it safe. They get back to the shore, and the soldier runs on ahead in his invisible cloak, and makes it back into his bed before the princesses get back, and snores away. He follows them for 2 nights after that, and on the 3rd night, he takes a golden goblet back as evidence. He goes to the king the next day and presents his evidence and his story. The king calls in his daughters and asks if it's true. They have to admit that it is the truth, that they've been running away every night to dance in this enchanted castle. The king asks the soldier which of the daughters he would like to marry, and as the soldier's rather old, and a little bit past his prime, he says, "I'll just marry the eldest. It doesn't make much difference to me." They were married that same day, and the king, or rather the soldier, inherited all of the king's land.